Dom Link, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the Commentary Show. Guys are doing Wopsa, having a wonderful day on this 18th April 2025. I'm not doing well. Hope you guys are. Happy Saint Friday. Gonna see me watching music or listening to music. Um, this is the only thing that's keeping me from breaking down right now. So sorry, but it is what it is. We're listening to Eden or Eden. Wake up 1 hour. This is a song that I used to listen to when I had my big depression at 22. So funny that we are still listening to this, right? So as you can possibly tell, or most of you at least, we're not doing well, at all. Just had an hour long conversation with my mom, and she's mad. She's really mad. I don't even feel like filming, but again, I promise you guys transparency. I promise you guys that I was gonna be honest, right? So it's not about the 13,000 that I owe the government. Parents are mad. My mom is really mad. My father's mad. You know, and yeah. Yeah. Sorry, guys. So we do owe $13,000 now. You know, I made a video about this morning, right? It's crazy that this was the video that we made today because it's so apropos, as they say in French, you know. It's so relevant to the whole situation. I was making a video this morning and talking about the third day since we learned anew and how we're feeling better, right? And then we approached the 5 stages of grief, right? And this morning we also did a conversation. We also did a video on communication, right? And the social aspect of communication and understanding how people felt, and you know, and you know, it's hard. It's really hard. Because they're also going through 5 stages of grief, right? Well, depending on the person, depending on the person, I'm sorry, guys. Depending on a person's psyche and emotional, they'll have a different stressful response, right? Or a different stress response. And today we talked to my mom, and again, she gave me shit for a while, and it was anger like I'd never seen before, you know. I couldn't even talk. It was just hammering down and hammering down and hammering down, and you know. And like yesterday I was talking about, I have to carry those people, you know. Yeah, so I was also carrying the coworker. But ultimately speaking, you know, they're not my direct family, or you know. They're so mad. They're so mad at the situation. They're so mad at the situation, but at the same time, you know, the three of us thought I was allowed to have an employment. I was able to get it. I was able to, you know. None of us knew that I wasn't allowed or able to. And the company, the mother company, the HQ, they fucked me over, you know. And now I'm the asshole who had to know that I was being fucked over. I'm the asshole that owes $30,000 and cannot pay it. You know, I'm lucky that I have good parents, but you know, that's my dream is to make content, but in 4 years what I have to show for it, you know. I have an amazing community. I really love you guys, but when push comes to shove, I have to push and shove. And I just can't, you know. I just can't. So now, and everybody surrounding me, they're like, no, this is not an opportunity for you. This is not possible. You're not going to make it, you know. And I tell them that I'm able to make it. And the only reason we're able to make it is because we're good with money. I'm saving up. I'm taking shortcuts. I'm eating food. The food I'm eating every single day, that's ramen. That's food that I had for years. I was still working when I bought those. You know, I was fearing a pandemic. You know, so I've been able to, you know, to have a cushion. And now, this cushion is out of my hand, right? And I'm trying to fight so hard and say, hey, it's possible for me to make content, you know? It's like, the way it feels like a scientist. It's like a scientist that had to discover something, right? And every single day gets closer to discovering. He finds something. There's a day where he doesn't find anything, but he's still, every single day he's working to finding a theorem, right? He's finding a, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? A formula, right? And every day he's trying, right? And he gets super close, right? Now again, the super close is up for discussion. What is super close? What isn't? And then there's another scientist that he didn't even know about. He didn't even know about a scientist, and he discovered the same formula that the other one was trying, and discovered it on his own, right? He discovered it on his own, and then his coworker. I hope I'm not recording. I'm not recording. The recording broke. Sorry, guys. Then his bosses, they tell them, hey, we financed your research, right? What do you have to show for it? And the guy said, well, it was super close. And then he's being told that you're not close enough, you have to reimburse everything. Right? And then you realize that this was the work of his lifetime, you know. And now he's freaking out. He's freaking out because he doesn't know what to do. He's freaking out because there seems to be no issue or no escape, you know. So then he has to crawl to the scientists, right? And those other scientists, they tell him, hey, remember when you failed, right? Remember when you crawled for help, right? And every single day they are hammering on him, you know. They're hammering on him and say, hey, how are you gonna fix this? How are you gonna fix this? How are you gonna fix it? And then you realize that there's no fixing it, right? There never was a way to fix it in the first place, right? Then that's it in. And you thought you were close, but were you really close, you know? It's 4 years, and ultimately it's 4 years that I've learned a lot. It's 4 years I really enjoyed. But once again, when push comes to shove, what's left? Years left? I don't know. You know. But then, what can I do, you know? It's not only that. I went to see the guys yesterday from work, and I was lying to myself in a way of, I have to take care of everybody, and I have to be calm, and I have to be the one to manage the situation, right? And I was seeing people that were angry, that wanted justice, that's screaming, you know? People were fighting between them. You were fighting between them. And then you're faced with two situations. Why are they acting like that? It's stupid, right? No, it's not stupid. Because they care more than I cared. This morning I was like, okay, well, I'm feeling better, you know? I didn't even try to pay the money yet. I did what I could. But what I could was, in the grand scheme of things, so little compared to the rest, right? And I don't know. And then the mentality of the 5 stage of grief, right? Comes back in. And they come back in hard. Comes back in really hard. And it comes back in as a they felt the stage of grief for the anger. They felt it for a while longer. They felt it for a lot longer, you know. Like I said my mom super angry. My father being more radical and saying, okay, well, I can allow myself to be angry because I have to solve the situation, right? And then you're asking yourself, why am I not feeling angry? Is it because I'm more matured and I moved on to the stage of grief more quickly? I don't know. I don't fucking know. More quickly, I think, is the right way. And you're not sure. You don't know, right? If you ask yourself the question, why did I move on so fast? This is my personality type, and I don't like confrontation, right? So it could be. But then, am I not allowing myself to feel this anger? Am I not allowing myself to feel this violence? I cried today. Didn't want to. Wasn't planning on it. But I cried. I cried so much, you know? And I cried. And I didn't allow myself to feel anger. Now, the most logical part of me was saying that because we've lived with so much anger when I was young, my father was angry. He was strict. He was very strict. He would go ballistic. My mom was super angry. So is it a way of coping? Is there a self mechanism, a trauma system, or a trauma IQ that says, hey, you felt the after effect, you felt the nucleus of anger when I'm angry, right? You know, and because I'm not able to process this feeling of anger, I'm not able to process the other emotion, right? So I bottle it up, then I implode, and I'm an asshole. But I'm an asshole because I've suffered. I'm an asshole because this is my reality. I suffered because one way or the other, it wasn't enough. This is why I'm sad now. I have the feeling that not being able to do enough. I feel like I'm not able to do enough for content creation. Feel like the biggest thing in my life right now is the weight loss. And last week we gained some weight. It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't planned. It wasn't wanted, but we lost some weight. We gained some weight. I gained 3 pounds. So we went from losing 15 pounds to losing 10 pounds to gaining 3 pounds. Once again, I feel like I'm not enough. I'm having this bill in front of me that I cannot pay. And once again, like I'm not enough, you know? And I've called them, and they were talking about how there was option of payment, right? And I could give out this amount every single month, and I could give out this amount every single month, right? And I just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know because, you know, one of my biggest pride in life is I got no debt. I owe nobody nothing, right? There's multiple versions of self-made, right? And again, you guys know me by now. You know who I am. You know how I act. You know how I think, right? And you understand that I'm very prideful and I like to isolate myself and be alone, right? So not knowing that I don't owe anybody anything. It's a pride. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, I made it. I had some help. But never help where I felt like I was indebted. And you know. Then my mom, I went at my father because he's not gonna help as much as my mom, she wants to really, really help because she feels like there's an injustice, right? She feels like there's an injustice, but then she blames me because you should have known that you weren't allowed to. How am I supposed to know that we're not allowed to when 10 of us, 10 out of 10 people, by the way, every single person had the unemployment and now have a debt to pay? The company fucked us. I understand that. The company fucked us. But I do not know what to do. I do not know. And yeah. You know? It's rough. It's tough. It's really tough. You know? And the fact that I don't owe anybody anything, once again, it's such a sense of pride because I'm like, hey, you know, I did it on myself. I had some help, but again, not enough for me to feel like I owe somebody something, you know? Yeah. So it's tough. It is tough. But, you know, my mind is mad at my father because he doesn't want to help as much as as she does. She wanted to help halfway. So 6,500, you know. But the difference between my mom and my dad is I never asked, and I didn't ask either of them for help. I never asked either for them to help, right? Now my mom, she decided to help because she wants to help, and most of the time when my mom help, it's coming from her. I'm not asking for shit, you know. Like, hey, let me help you out. And then you can tell her, Mom, no, please, I got this. She won't listen. So then the difference with my father has the habits of me not needing help. My father understands that I can, you know. So when it's time for me to help, so it's for me to ask for help, I don't. Like, well, he's okay, right? Because he never asked for help, you know. And my mom, the thought process of he's okay. I'm still a baby boy. I need help, you know. And my father, I'm a man. He's able to do shit on his own, you know. And in both cases, they said, let's pay the bill. I'm the only one that wanted to contest it, right? I'm also sad because even though I feel like I didn't do anything wrong, I feel like if I was to go to court, I would win. Since I need their help, I have to listen and I have to obey, you know, because they're helping and I owe them, right? I owe them because they help. So then both of them, they wanna pay the bill, and I wanna go to court, but I cannot go to court. So they're mad at me for something I can avoid, you know. It's like boiling pasta. You hurt yourself, and then they say, "Hey, don't boil pasta anymore. You can't do it, right?" And you try to tell them, "Hey, I can't." But then because they're the one that gave you the pasta, you're stuck eating cold pasta. And it was as easy as trying to do it that worked. They're willing to give up, not even trying to fight. You know? And yeah. I don't know what to do. So then I'm stuck submitting to law and order. And yes, I think that part of this independence that I'm trying so hard to fight to keep. I think it's the fact that I don't owe anybody anything, but it's also the fact that I don't know. I have no clue. So now I have to say, yes, Mom, yes, Dad, I will do it. No, when I don't want to do it, I'm gonna fight that. You know. Now I feel unheard. I feel like they're mad at me for the situation. Because they're mad at me for the situation, they won't listen. And then they're fighting with each other because they're so angry. They're fighting with each other. If we're gonna get out of it, we need to be treated together. But then my father's on his side, my mom, she's on her side. I'm stuck in the middle. I'm trying to fix things but even then I'm not listened to because you're the asshole who has a debt, you know? And if I went to court, right, and I fought and I didn't have to pay bills, right? And I just came in and I was like, hey, we should fight this. Because if we win, then none of those two, they have to worry about it. None of those two, they have to fix a situation that shouldn't have to be fixed in the first place. The company closed. They offered me a new job. They call it transfer. Because they call it transfer, legally speaking, it's still the same job. You know? And they're asshole because the Metro, the butter company, they needed 6 people. They needed 6 people. And we're 10 that has to pay. Now what I'm not saying is 4 of those 10 people, 4 of those 15 people, because the last one is my boss, and my boss retired, which makes us 14 available worker. 4 of us left to work there, right? They only had 2 places left. So of the 10, only 2 had a chance to have a job, right? But then I'm talking about avoiding a battle, right? Or avoiding a debt. And then, in the perfect situation, I would have made sure that I was allowed to get the money in the first place. But once again, they waited a year after to send me a bill and say, hey, you owe this much, right? A month, I would have been able to pay. 2 months, I would have been able to pay. 3 months, no problem. 4 months, no problem. 5 months, no problem. 8, 9 months, I'm gonna have problem to pay, you know? And then, even then, I was able to keep savings. And I was able to cushion the rent and shit like that, right? The rent in itself is not expensive. I'm paying $6.25 per month. That's one. Next, I'm paying the Fizz, which is internet, which is $35 per month. It's $40 with taxes. That's $6.75. I'm paying $40 per month for my cell phone. $515. I'm paying $21 for Netflix, which is $730. Right? I have to pay for hydro, but the eating of the building is included. Because the eating of the apartment of the building is included. I only have to pay $40 every 2 months. Then I'm at $755, right? I don't have to buy food. I don't have to buy clothes. So what's left to buy? Nothing. I have to pay for transport, which is about $100 per month. So I live for under $850 per year, you know? And yeah. And $800 per year, I'm more than capable of doing what I can. You know? At 850, I'm at plus 1,700. We're at 10,200 per year. I owe 13,000. I owe more than my cost of living for 1 year. You know? It's just so much at the same time. And again, I'm being hammered down and hammered down. That's why I don't like having to deal with people when I have problem. You know? I had people reach out to me, amazing people. Then the situation is, that's not their problem. They don't need to hear that. They're dealing with their own shit, right? One of the only people that I told, because she kept asking, was Anna. Anna's a single mom. A single mother, right? And she still has a baby, so expensive on clothes that keeps on changing, on diaper that keeps on changing. You know, she has to deal with a lot of the expenses, you know. She doesn't want to hear that because I'm not saying that she doesn't want to hear that. She doesn't need to hear that because she has her own financial burden, right? And then talking about it is just rough. It's just really rough because when you hear about it, it's bad. Because then people think that, is he asking me for help? You know? But then at the same time, you're not asking for help, but you're talking about it. And then, even though you're not asking for help, people don't help or they don't offer to help. And you're asking yourself, nobody gives a shit, you know? Which is not true. They do give a shit. You can't just expect people to be there when shit hits the fan. Some people will be. Most people won't, you know. I was talking about my depression when I was 22, you know. And my best friend who unlived himself. My girlfriend, my very first girlfriend, my very first mutual love. Would have really worked, right? And it would have really worked, right? Oops. Yeah, that's not good for the computer. Succeed under. Yes, it's done. You know. And yes, that was rough. That was traumatizing, right? Because again, I'm a simple guy that tends to isolate himself, right? So my circle of friends is very small. Because that circle of friends is very small, I'm more demanding via those friends. Not because I want to, because there's so little of them, you know. It's like selling 10 chocolate, right? And it costs you X to make this chocolate. So if you sell 10 of them, it's 10 divided by 10. It's X divided by 10. So X divided by 10, you're financially viable, right? If you do 11 divided by 10, if you do x divided by 11, right, then you're making profit divided by 10, right? But then you're selling only 3, your cost is still 10. So then everybody has to pay more to cover the cost, right? So those friend, and the normal thing to do, well, not normal, it was horrible to do, but the natural reaction that I had was to burn bridges, and burn bridges. So then you lose those close friends, right? And then you're looking at complete stranger. But then no stranger, you help them because you weren't working. So because you weren't working, you had a lot of free time, and you would go on Facebook and talk to people, and you were lonely, so you would talk to a lot of people, and then it would help you. And then it would help you. And then it would help you, right? And then it would help you in ways where it's gorgeous because you're doing something good, right? And you're doing it because you're nice. Mostly because you're bored, but you're nice, And then you remember who you helped, right? And even if you didn't do to collect, there's a time of need, right? There's a time of need, and you're like, it's like the mafia, right? And they lend you money, right? And he's like, okay, well, I'll pay you back. And they say, don't pay me back. I'll need a favor one day, right? It's kind of that. Now, this favor might never come. It might never come. But it might come one day. And when you come to collect, nobody has money. Nobody has the favor. Nobody wants to do it. Everybody's afraid of you. Everybody's afraid of dirtying their own hand, right? And that was a depression. I was like, nobody gives a shit, But that's not true. People give a shit. But then that experience for nobody giving a shit led me to close off and to change my whole behavior. And by changing my whole behavior, I became independent, right? I always tell you, hey, I'm so happy I'm self-sufficient. This self-sufficient doesn't come from hey, I'm amazing, I'm mature. Because it came from a place where I couldn't rely on anybody. And the only person that I had my back was myself. So once again, the principle of I owe you, the principle of divided costs or dividend is 1. So remember the chocolate, right? If you sell 10 of those, your money, 11 of those, your profit, 3 of those, well, it's a lot of cost. But then you're selling to one person. That's expensive as fuck, So do it to yourself. And you do it to yourself, and you do it to yourself, and you do it to yourself until it becomes a natural. It becomes a reflex. Well, I have this problem. What can I do? Versus, hey, I have this problem. Who can help me? Right? No, it seemed like I'm saying like, hey, if you have a problem, go ask for help. And I think there's a very important distinction to do here. And the very important distinction to do here is you have a problem versus you need help. That's completely different. I have this problem that I can fix. I need some help. Automatically, if I need some help, I cannot fix it. Automatically, logically speaking. The sun down, now. See. Okay, still something. Yes. And at the end you become self-sufficient because it's a habit. And then when you have a problem, you can fix them, right? And because you're so used to being self-sufficient, you're not used to ask for help. Then when you need help, you don't know how to ask it, right? And then luckily you find yourself surrounded by people, right? And those people are there to support you, to help you out. Wow, I'm so lucky. And then again, we have the 5 stage of grief. At first, like, okay, well, that's what can we do, right? It's denial, okay, anger, bargaining, lethargy, acceptance. You know, I learned all of that from Majora's Mask, by the way. And then now that they're at the stage of auto destruction, right? And you're seeing people implode around you. They implode, they self-destruct. They're going to war with each other. It's such a big problem. And then you might have a solution, but nobody's willing to listen to you, right? And then you don't feel heard because you're the person that's self-sufficient. So you're self-dependent. You take care of shit yourself. So you have a tendency or a habit of solving problem on your own. And then you tell those people, hey, I might have a solution. And their answer is, fuck you. You're the one that brought the problem. You know? And that's the worst part. The worst part will always be, and always has been, letting people down. You know? And I feel like I possibly let people down more than I know. Because I'm not reliant on them, and because I'm not, hey, help me. Even if I let them down, they're like, okay, well, at least he's okay, right? But now I'm not okay, you know? So I don't know what to do. And I had this feeling of hammering down. And that's one thing. Because you endure it, and you're strong, so you don't mind enduring it. Hit me as much as you want, I don't care, right? I'm sad now, but tomorrow I'll be okay. Even if you hit me. Even if you spit in my face, it's fine. I'll be okay, right? But then there's the undertone of it. And the undertone of it is, people are not really mad at you. They're worried about the situation, they're stressed. They don't have a solution, so they turn to despair. You know? There's this beautiful sentence of, let's see how loyal a dog is when it's hungry. Right? Despair is that hungry dog. Then you change yourself, you change. Right? And you become like an alcoholic. Where instead of with people that are acting differently with alcohol, you know what you're saying. If it's different, it's alcohol, it's emotion, it's different. Not really. You see, with people with alcohol, they're themselves, right? Or they act as themselves. And when they're sober, they're able to control this, right? And they're able to maintain a passable, you know. And you know, people say, "Oh, people are not born evil," and that's true. We all have our whole trauma and our whole thing to deal with, you know. And you have people that have their whole life ruined because of one action, you know. Just like emotion. You're able to maintain yourself, you're able to keep a level-headed, right? And then all it takes is a drop in a full cup for it to overflow. And then you're no longer able to maintain that level-headedness. You're no longer able to help those people, or to be the calm self of the calm image of yourself, or the calm version of yourself, right? And then I said yesterday, and I meant it. And again, I'm gonna sound like an asshole, but it's not. That's not the goal here. I felt like I was talking to my mom a lot and my father a lot, and I was helping both of them a lot. And I truly felt like I was the most level-headed. I felt like my mom was really stressed, and I was trying to calm her down, or at least endure. She needs to punch with a punching bag, or my father, who was worried and willing to give up. And this is the subservient nature that he has, the subservient nature of, I never had leadership. I've always been an employee. I've always been a sheep. I always had to follow a certain lead. I always had to do as told. So when I finally have free reign, I don't know what to do, because this constant mindset of following has killed every single semblance of leadership. And then you're being told by, I'm going to come back to it, but you're being told by somebody who's actually punching you, right? They're punching you, and they're slapping you, and they're using the belt, and they're whipping you, right? And they're telling you that you did something that you didn't do, right? And then there's a person in there that's like, hey, I didn't do it, but if that's the consequences, I'll take it. Versus the person that is, fuck you, I don't deserve this, right? Now, where lies the truth? Does the truth lies in, where does the truth lies? And the truth lies in fuck you, or hey, it's done, right? Doesn't matter how long I suffer, it's not eternal, it's a temporary pain, right? So I try to tell them, hey, this, and ultimately speaking, without necessarily being a leader, or having leadership of, or having this commanding attitude toward my father. There's moments where he was talking, he was afraid, and I had to tell him, dude, stop. And I have to give him order for him to calm down. So I had to maintain that. And in both cases, my parents are the two people that are most aware, and they're the most there for me, which is amazing. But they're both filled cup, right? They're both filled to the brim with water, right? And you would add a single drop of water. Again, I'm recording this, so water is my language, but they're both in a position of, hey, let's fix this shit, right? And I'm like, can I help? In this scenario, I'm gonna fucking sink, And the second I turn on the water, which is helping, because that's the purpose of a sink. The purpose of a sink is to give water, right? Can we agree on that? Cool. The circuit that you're doing this purpose of being a sun, while you're the drop of water that's too much because you cause a problem. So then I'm in a position where I have to wait until they both calm down a little bit. Because I have to wait, I have to be passive and not do shit and just let the dust settle. But because I'm not doing anything, I'm losing time where I could contest, And yesterday my mom was like, hey, you can contest it. I'm like, my mom's like, I'm gonna contest it, let's pay the bill, and once we're contesting it, we'll contest it. Now the weird part is my mom was even more mad today. And it's horrible, because she calls me and I'm literally giving out CVs to find a job, because it's an emergency. I'm desperate, and when people are desperate, they act differently, right? Remember what I was saying about the alcohol, and the same thing, right? So I'm asking for help. I'm asking for a job, because if I get a job, then I don't have to beg for help, and I can take care of the problem myself. Makes sense? Hopefully. And then my mom, she calls me, and she said, call me when you have time. I'm giving out CVs. So because I'm giving out CVs, my phone's in airplane mode, right? Because it rings all day with fucking scams. And if somebody wants to hire me and they see me all the time answering the phone or phone rings, right? Like, this guy is addicted to his phone, which is true, but they don't know that, So I leave it on the airplane, and then I eat. Just eat a piece of bread with, 2 pieces of bread, 2 pieces of cheese, 2 hot dog sausage, right? And and then I call it when I'm done, which is like 2 o'clock, right? PM. And I call her, and I'm like, "Hey ma, let me to call you." And then she tell me, "No, you'll call me at 9." And I say, "Okay, I'll try," because again, I don't know. For example, right? It's 8:30. I'm doing something. I don't see time pass. Oh, it's fucking 9:15, right? So instead of saying I'll call you at 9 o'clock on the dot, I say I'll try, which means that, okay, well, then if I call you at 10, I still call you, right? And right away she's aggressive, and she says, I'll call you, call me at 9 is important. I'm like, okay, ma. And then she texts me at 6 o'clock, and right now it's 7:50. And then she's like, hey. And she's like, she's already aggressive, so I know by calling her, she's gonna be aggressive, right? So I'm trying to be passive, and I'm trying to calm down. So before I call her, I take a deep breath, right? And then she asked me what did the paper said, and the paper's at my father's house, because my father wants to have a file, with multiple paper and everything that we needed, because my father needs to be organized, otherwise he doesn't deal well in chaos, right? So I call him, and he doesn't answer. So I'm telling my mom, I'm saying, hey, sorry mom, because she told me what's on the paper. So I tell him, I told her what I thought was written, which was the exact thing that was written, but I want to make sure. I call my father, and he doesn't answer. And then he called me, and I don't even have the time to answer the phone, and I can hear her swearing in the background, And it sucks because I'm getting angrier. And I'm getting angry, and I'm getting angry, and I'm getting angrier. And then it's like, oh, you treat your father so much better than me. Which is not true, by the way. So it's horrible. Then she gets angry, and I have to once again, I have to endure and take it 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 and take it. Why? Because that's the only thing I can do. The only thing I can do. See, if I had to put it in word, the perfect, absolute perfect definition would be something along the line of, you don't buy the hand that feeds you, right? That's the perfect description. And it's ironical and theatrical and anything that you want, because yes, you don't buy the hand that feeds you. However, if there's no hand feeding you, you don't have to worry about biting the hand that feeds you. It's the classic angle of teach a man to fish. Give a man a fish, he'll eat for one day. Teach a man to fish, he'll never need he'll never go hungry again. The second you become self-sufficient, then you're able to pick up your own food and fish or whatever. You don't have a hand to bite. It's so complex because you're in a position of, hey, if you spend too much time feeding yourself, and one day you're presented a hand to feed you, you don't know what to do with the hand, right? So there's a perfect balance once again. And everybody expects you to have this perfect balance down. and perfect, and everybody expects you to be, oh, perfect. You know what? This is the exact way you react to people, right? But we're all different, and the society is different, right? And some people act a way, other people act another way, and then you act your own ways. So they're fighting a lot. The dogs, they're fighting a lot. The only way is to have a sheep mentality and follow the herd, right? But then I saw my parents being those sheeps and follow the herd and follow and follow and follow and follow, and it led them nowhere. Now, ultimately speaking, this is ironical because I'm sitting here with a debt. I'm asking my parents for help. Then I'm saying that they went nowhere, but in a way they didn't. You know, in a way they spent their life following and never got to accomplish what they wanted to accomplish. Right? Now here we are, trying to accomplish a dream. Right? And that dream is to make content. And it doesn't work, you know? And I don't know what to do. I do not know what to do. I don't know how to react. I don't know how to act. I don't know what to say, to do. You know? It's horrible. It's horrible. So I feel like I'm letting everybody down, but I'm letting myself down, you know? And we're already thinking about the aftermath, you know? And how everybody's gonna still be pissed, you know? And then I'll reimburse them. It's gonna take a year, it's gonna take 2 years. So for 1 year and 2 years, I owe money. Which isn't a big deal because, you know, life is short, but not that short. But for 2 years, I'm gonna have to know that I'm owing something to someone, and if they act in a way that I don't appreciate, or if I'm feeling this emotion because I'm treated not properly, and I feel this anger at being treated improperly, right? And I'm feeling this anger at being treated unfairly. It's bad. It's horrible. I cannot react. You know, I was more angry at being treated like shit today on the phone than the actual debt. I don't understand why. Anyway, my rant. Thank you for watching.